To recite from the Quran, I'd like to call upon Mustafa once again. And as Mustafa recites the Quran, translation will appear on the screen. Thank you, Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. أياما معدودات، فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين، فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له، فأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه، ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر، ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. فإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعاني فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. صدق الله العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, Mustafa. I'd like to to now introduce our first key address for this evening, Azmeena Hussain. Azmeena Hussain is an associate practicing in the Work Cover Department of Maurice Blackburn's Melbourne office. Azmeena has a strong passion for access to justice for the most marginalised in our community, and she's an active member of the cultural and linguistically diverse community. She serves as a Vice President for the Women Islamic Council of Victoria, Board Member of Spectrum Migrant Resource Centre. She's on the judging panel for the Australia Day Awards New Australian of the Year Award, external advisor to the Victoria Police Human Rights Committee, which is managed by my department, thank you, and board member of In Touch Multicultural Centre Against Family Violence. It's also a community ambassador for the Australian Football League. And it also says here, and much more. I'm not sure how she could fit in much more, but there you go. So please welcome Azmeena.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Charlie, for that welcome. I was asked today to say a few words about the meaning of Ramadan and a bit about me. So seeing as we're all here tonight eating dinner, partaking in the breaking of the fast, I thought that's where I'll start with Ramadan. Ramadan is the holiest month of the year and the month in which the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This month is considered the largest religious observance in humankind and continues to grow each year. To a lot of people, however, Ramadan looks like it's quite exhausting and somewhat torturous. However, believe it or not, Ramadan is beyond just food and water. Whilst we abstain from food and water, fasting is about training our ability to control our constant desires. For me personally, it's an annual detox and a way to reaffirm my connection with God. As the ordinary being, you cannot control what makes you angry or what makes you upset, but you can control the way in which you respond to situations, and that is what the month of Ramadan trains you to do. It forces you to forget about food and to focus on who you are, why you are here, and to try and be the best possible person you can. And for me personally, that's quite powerful. The month of Ramadan places a heavy emphasis on giving charity and undertaking good deeds to help others. In my family, this is a month in which my mum in particular is busy partaking in a lot of charity acts around Melbourne. The pre-dawn meal, that's called sahur, and where we are tonight breaking the fast, that's called Iftar. Iftar dinners are held all around Australia as a highlight on the interfaith calendar, and I commend the Rotary Club for hosting tonight's Iftar dinner. This act of generosity is not only refreshing to the Muslim community, but through holding such dinner and engaging in conversation and speaking with people that you may not ordinarily speak with, well, the long-term effect is quite huge. You're building awareness and understanding, and from that, a coalition of goodness. I never thought a meal could do that much, so continue to eat and keep eating. In 2010, I commenced as a graduate lawyer at Maurice Blackburn Lawyers. I remember after my first couple of months in, I knocked straight on the chairman's door and put to him the idea of hosting a Ramadan Iftar dinner. We've held one every year since, and now in our interstate offices. For me personally, it's been a powerful way in bridging the gap for access to the law for ordinary people. It's been an invaluable means of introducing my colleagues to the rich cultural diverse community and an opportunity for them to build meaningful relationships of trust. So on that note, I thought I'd tell you a bit more about me. I was thinking about what to say tonight, and I thought about that question I all too often get asked. So where did you come from? I get quite confused when people ask me this, to be honest. Do they mean what country, or what organisation, or what suburb, or where I was just before? I was actually taking my niece to the bathroom. So tonight I thought I'd answer that question like an A+ exam and cover all bases. Both my parents were born in Sri Lanka, and in the late 1970s, my dad, who had already migrated to Australia, relocated to Sri Lanka and married my mum. Together they had 3 children here in Australia. My mum knew absolutely no one and nothing about the Australian way of life. With time, my mum and dad bought a business and were really successful. But unfortunately, over time, my dad, he found himself drinking and he became an alcoholic. Unfortunately, with the alcohol came some violence, and eventually, 1 year after I was born, my dad relocated back to Sri Lanka. In the process, he abandoned my mum, leaving her with a stack of legal issues, and most importantly, he abandoned our family. My mum was left with no support network. Eventually, she tracked down a Sri Lankan retired lawyer who, prior to his retirement, he specialised in what he called ADT, any damn thing. Mum trusted this lawyer because the community did, and it made me realise that access to the law was not a matter of just searching the yellow pages. It was all about trust for a migrant woman. I remember when I was 4, I attended these lawyers with my mum, and I would witness how these lawyers would allay my mother's fears and anxiety, and how my mother felt assured that the matters of her family were being dealt with by people she could trust. In witnessing this, from the age of 3, I was determined to be a lawyer. I could see the profound impact they had on her, and I wanted to help her the same way. I remember I used to always tell my mum, "Don't worry mum, I'll become a lawyer and I'll help you out." So some 20 years later, you can only imagine what my mum was like on the day of my admission. I don't think she'd hugged and kissed the person that moved my admission that many times. I hear she ran out of tissues before the admission ceremony even began. So today my mum is remarried and is incredibly in love with life and family. I still call her a newlywed, despite being married for some time now. I just can't help it, they look really cute together. So she no longer has those issues, and while she still calls on me to help her send a MMS on her new iPhone, she doesn't need to engage lawyer Azmeena to assist her. She has a strong sense of identity and confidence, and in return she now gives back so much to the community. So for me now, it's about giving back, about using my legal skills to facilitate access to justice for ordinary people and the most marginalised in the community, for me, a migrant woman. Such empowerment gives individuals the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet and, just like my mum, give back to the community and live quite meaningful lives. We all have a role to play in advancing this. One of the biggest issues we face is we all too quickly put labels on people and groups in society, which is often due to a lack of understanding. What this does is it strips individuals of their sense of belonging, and it's disempowering. Being here tonight and engaging in conversation with someone new or someone from a background that you haven't ordinarily met or engaged with, well, you're rebuilding those bridges of understanding and creating meaningful change to the wider community. So continue the great work you're doing in building relationships. Continue to embrace and celebrate our rich diversity by partaking in Iftar dinners like you have tonight. And you may not even realise that in giving someone else an opportunity to share their story with you and to identify and embrace those commonalities you share, well, you're empowering them to better themselves, and that's quite powerful. So in conclusion to my A+ assignment, where did I come from? Well, that is really quite an insignificant question. What we do while we're here is what matters. How we best utilise the opportunities we're afforded and how we strive to be the best possible form of ourselves is what matters. Because ultimately, and as Ramadan has taught me, it is crucial that we are ambassadors of what we stand for. And when we work together, whether big or small, in whatever capacity we have, well, we're all achieving the ultimate goal, to make one another's lives happier and easier. Thank you.
Thank you, Azmeena. That was very powerful. Please love an acronym. Do you mind if I borrow ADT? That's okay. Thank you once again. Certainly have to acknowledge that's a very impressive event. Amit tells me that the intention is for it to be a yearly event. So there's lots of fingers crossed there. So I hope you all remember this event and support this event as it comes around next year. Okay, next I'd like to call on Julie Mason. Julie is the District Governor for Rotary District 9800. Julie has been a member of the Rotary Club of Wyndham for 20 very happy years and served as the club president in the year 2000-2001. She's gained a sound knowledge of Rotary by taking on various roles over the years, including the Assistant Governor, Club Vision Facilitator, District Director, International Services. In addition to her Rotary commitments, Julie is also the Principal of the Baden-Powell College in Wyndham, looking after 1,800 students and 200 staff. Julie was awarded the Victorian Primary Principal of the Year in 2005 and presented with a 40-year service certificate in 2012. She's been very actively involved in local government committees for many years and was declared the Wyndham Citizen of the Year in 2006. And I also have to acknowledge Rotary District 9800, who sponsored me as a Rotary International Peace Fellow in 2010. So I'm very indebted to Rotary District 9800. Please welcome Julie Mason.
That just means I'm old in the busybody, really. Now, I'm going to get dressed for the occasion. This is my second day as District Governor of District 9800, and these are the chains of office that I would only bring out on a very, very, very important occasion. So I'm dressing up. Interesting to know who you are speaking to, and my brief is to tell you a little bit about Rotary, which I'll do with great joy and passion. But I just want to check out the people who are here. Where are our parliamentary colleagues? Brilliant, good, lovely. So you're here now, which is really good. Where's the principal, Tony DeFazio? Doesn't quite. Good, okay, my fellow colleague. Where are the students who are here? There are students here. Volunteer students, students from a school. Terrific, okay. Where are the teachers? Some teachers were noted for here too. Yes, and there's some smiling people. Where's Mark Walker, Detective Leading Senior Constable? Okay, all right. And where's the housewife? Someone's down here as a housewife. Where's the housewife? Okay, I'd just like to know who I'm talking to. So we have, in this wonderful room, for this wonderful occasion, I will talk into the microphone, sorry. We have such diversity, haven't we? And we've heard from such wonderful speakers. It is an absolute pleasure to have just a little bit of your time now to tell you a little bit about what I think is a fantastic organisation. Now, I have here, in Islam, there is a hadith that says, God helps the servant as long as the servant helps his brother. So we are summoned to serve and to lift up one another. Would that be true? Okay. I see through that the values of peace and understanding, the importance of family and community, and what a great occasion this is for us. And that leads me beautifully into a little bit about Rotary. Rotary is an international organisation of women and men who have a common purpose, and essentially it's summed up in these words: doing good in the world. Rotary actually is the only vocationally based service organisation, and the Rotarians in the room now will be saying she's going to say there's over 1.2 million Rotarians in over 340,000 clubs who are genuinely providing service to their community and advancing goodwill and peace through that service. Interestingly, in Rotary, underpinning all this and how it all started really was using acquaintance or friendship as a purpose for people coming together. And certainly I believe in all Rotary clubs that's what the glue that keeps the clubs together, those friendships that are made. Now, George, thank you for talking about the four-way test. I can cross off that paragraph. Rotarians live by core values, and I won't embarrass the people in the room now to ask them if they can tell me the core values, but they are integrity, they are service, fellowship, diversity, and leadership. A typical Rotary club is involved in community projects that assist the disadvantaged and the disenfranchised in the community. A typical Rotary Club raises funds to be able to do what they know is important for students in schools, food and comfort for the homeless, leadership, personal development programs for our youngsters and our young leaders. Rotary in District 9800, which I should explain is one of 21 districts in Australia, one of 5 districts in Victoria. Rotary in 9800 genuinely wants to be reflective of the community that they serve. In many communities within our district, and our district stretches from Brighton in the east to my club Wyndham in the west, with lots of clubs in and around Melbourne, up the centre of Victoria through Bendigo, Castlemaine, Kyneton, up to Echuca, Moama. So it's quite an interesting and diverse district just of its nature. Many Rotary clubs are reflective of their community, but not all. Not all. So in our district, we have the first Rotary Club in Australia, the Rotary Club of Melbourne. That is our largest club with 236 members. Then we have the Rotary Club of Caulfield, not terribly far away, with 9 members. We have city clubs, country clubs, and as I said, the district extends north and across the breadth of Melbourne. We have a lot to be proud of in our district. We have international recognition as a peace district, and Charlie alluded to that, and we thank him for continuing to talk and share that, because as a district we're really very proud of that. And as an educator in schools, I can't think of anything more important at this point in time in our world than to be talking and learning and practicing and teaching about peace. Central Melbourne-Sunrise, your host club, has initiated a police mentoring program. And for our district, I think that's something to be very proud of as well. The Rotary Club of Brighton has initiated many years ago now a program called Violence-Free Families, with a soon-to-be-released world-first online course to assist those who have trouble maintaining that behaviour that we know we need to have successful, peaceful, happy families. Our district has been a first in leading with programs such as Rotary Oceania Medical Aid for Children, Interplast, and Australian Rotary Health. An annual group study exchange where a team of young professionals exchanges with their vocation in another country around the world is a program that we have maintained for many years. Rotary Youth Exchange, where our young children and the latter years of their secondary school are able to go and live in another country for 12 months, go to school, learn about the culture, the practices, and get to know how to live in a family vastly different in many cases to their own. Every year we have a Women in Rotary annual breakfast to commemorate International Women's Day. I tell you about that because I hope that demonstrates in our district, and indeed in Rotary districts all around the world, that commitment to what we're here for tonight and what we're talking about tonight, and that is that developing that understanding and appreciation of the diversity that strengthens our communities. So we're very proud of what we do in our district. We're especially proud of the programs that are available for young people. And on our table we were talking a little bit about how important it is for children at 5 and 6 years of age to be learning about communities, how communities operate, and an appreciation of the difference. And I need to say that in my school, as Charlie said, I have 1,800 students. I have 60 different cultural language groups in my college. 60 different cultural groups. It's quite extraordinary. I was telling the people on my table that we started with an Early Act club. Now, Early Act is Rotary for 9, 10, 11-year-olds. Our first Early Act club, when they met around their table, there were 2 children that you would identify as English-speaking children, blonde-haired, blue-eyed English-speaking children. The rest were from countries all around the world. Our first speaker for that Early Act club was a gentleman called Eginald Hark from the Rotary Club of Footscray. And he talked to them about building toilets for children in schools in Bangladesh. And all that was happening in a school in Australia. I thought that was quite extraordinary. I hadn't been moved for a long time by what I was seeing in front of me. Developed great confidence for me for the future, to be honest. I want to tell you about 2 particular activities because I bought my business card as the District Governor. And I happen to think there's quite a lot of potential Rotarians in this room, George. I know we've got one on our table that Alan's going to sign up soon. And I want you to get a sense of Rotary because through these 2 activities, I hope that many of you as leaders in your groups, your business, your life, would maybe consider coming and working with an organisation such as Rotary. So 2 particular activities. The Rotary Club of Flemington has done extensive work now over many years to connect with the cultural group leaders in the Housing Commission flats in Flemington. And leaders from the various cultural groups there have been sponsored to join the club. And they've just added such strength and such knowledge and such capacity to the Rotary Club of Flemington. One of the examples as a result of that was there were many people from the groups wanting to get a licence, and we know that most of us who have a licence wouldn't want to be without it. We'd feel disempowered. So many people wanting to get a car licence, but not having the means by which to get the hours to be able to drive confidently to get their licence. So the Rotary Club of Flemington raised money, obtained some cars, went out as volunteers to work with these folk who wanted to get their licence. Just a very practical project. So that's one. The second initiative is actually my Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Wyndham. Our community out in Wyndham, in a growth area, is very multicultural. But we haven't been able to connect with people that we want to connect with so that our club, my club, is representative of the community. So we were able to just run an interest night and connect with a bit of hard work and help from the police actually as well. Not in a negative sense, Charlie, just because one of your colleagues was doing some fantastic work out there with the local children through basketball. And we were able to bring together 20 members from the various groups in Wyndham, and from that we have 2 new members. But more importantly, the cultural groups out in our community now know what Rotary can do for them. And we're a means to achieve what it is that some of the groups want to achieve. So in a nutshell, Rotary cares, connects, and through camaraderie really is doing good in the world. And a goal of mine in this year as District Governor in our district, the best district in Australia I might say, is for all clubs to move closer to being reflective of their community. All clubs have a desire to do that. Not all clubs know how to. And I suspect that there are many people in this room tonight who'd be able to help those clubs to understand how that can happen. I would relish the opportunity to achieve this in a practical way this year, because the theme for Rotary International this year, and by the way, our Rotary International President is Sri Lankan. The theme is be a gift to the world. I think I see in front of me many people who have what it takes to be a gift to the world and to help me bridge that gap in knowledge, perhaps an understanding between Rotary and their community where they haven't quite connected with people such as people who are sitting in this room. So if you think that you could help to bridge that, I have a business card for you with my details, and I'd love to talk to you to make those links so that every Rotary Club in our district has the joy of having that cultural diversity that is reflective of their communities. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Julie. I was very tempted to stand up about halfway through your speech. I've done many speeches in many Rotary clubs and many districts and had the Rotary wind-up many times as a public speaker, but I resisted the urge. I'm not a Rotarian, but clearly very indebted to Rotary. And I'll just share one quick anecdote of my first exposure to Rotary, which was at the Chadstone East Malvern Club when I was being hosted as a Rotary Peace Fellow. I attended my first ever Rotary meeting. It was quite a different environment to what I was used to, I guess. And I was speaking to this guy next to me who was telling me about a project that the club had undertaken in Papua New Guinea to build a school. He was speaking very enthusiastically about this project, and it was clear that things had happened very efficiently and very quickly. He also went on to tell a story about how a cyclone had hit the village, wiped out everything except the school remained standing, how this school had become a critical piece of infrastructure in that village. So I was just fascinated by the story and flippantly said, so what's next, a hospital? He said, how did you know? So amazing. Anyway, I think now we have a very short break, 5 or 10 minutes to freshen up, grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, refresh if you need, and then we'll finish off the program shortly. Thank you.